Hello friends, welcome to AJIS Academy Indore for videos on different topics for UPSC, PSCs and other competitive examinations. Friends, you are requested to subscribe the channel AJIS Academy Indore on YouTube and you will get numerous videos. Today's topic is what is monsoon in India. My lesson plan includes why it is in the news, what is the definition of monsoon in India, what are the different theories with regard to the origin of monsoon in India, how monsoons in India are affected, impact of the monsoons on the Indian economy, and finally conclusion. Friends, after the end of this video, it will be followed by a number of multiple choice questions and the answer will be given in the next video. Why it is in the news? Friends, as you know that the India Meteorological Department forecast the early arrival of the monsoon on the mainland of India on 27th May onwards. It was unusual because on an average the Indian monsoon hits the border of Kerala on 1st June every year. This is the first time since 2009 when the monsoon will arrive in India before the due date. In 2009, the monsoon arrived on 23rd May. Friends, as you know that the monsoons in India cover the entire country by 8th July. By September, the monsoon start receding from northern India and the retreat of monsoon is complete in the northern and central India by the end of the October. In the month of November, the monsoon finally retreats to Tamil Nadu and it causes heavy rainfall in the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and some parts of Karnataka. According to IMD forecast, the 2025 monsoon would be above normal, thereby ruling out the impact of El Nino, which causes lesser amount of rainfall in India. Friends, if there is 87 centimeter annual rainfall in India, it is called normal rainfall. But if there is less than 90% of the average rainfall, it is called deficient rainfall. Between 90% to 95% of the average rainfall is called below normal. But more than 105% to 110% of the average annual rainfall is called above normal rainfall. But if there is annual rainfall of more than 110%, this is called excess rainfall or precipitation. This increased rainfall causes floods, particularly in northern India. Friends, as you know that monsoon is very much crucial for the agriculture of our country. As you know that more than 45% of our land is still unirrigated, and so deficient rainfall has its impact upon the production and productivity of different kinds of crops, particularly in the states of Rajasthan, Deccan and central India. As you know that the agriculture contributes 18.2% to our GDP and around 42.3% of our workforce is employed in agriculture. And so monsoon is very crucial for the agricultural growth in our country. It is also essential for replenishing reservoirs, for irrigation works and for the generation of hydroelectricity. Friends, now the question is, what is the definition of monsoon? The word monsoon has been derived from the Arabic word mausim, which means season. Friends, monsoon is nothing but the reversal of winds. As you know that there are three planetary winds. These are trade winds, westerlies and polar easterly. Monsoon is actually the extension of southeast trade winds. In the summer season, the south trade wind crosses the equator, and because of the Coriolis effect, it turns towards right and then it becomes southwest wind. This southwest wind is the monsoon in India, which hits the mainland of India usually on 1st June of every year. Since this southwest monsoon traverses through the Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea, it is moist laden, and when it hits the mainland of India, it causes heavy rainfall. There are two types of monsoons in India. One is southwest monsoon, which originates in the summer season, while another is northeast monsoon, which originates in the winter season. The southwest monsoon has two branches. These are Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch. It must be noted that 70 to 90% of the total rainfall in India comes from southwest monsoon. Another variant of the monsoon is northeast monsoon, which originates in the winter season in India. It causes 10 to 20% of the total annual rainfall in India, and more than 50 to 60% of the total rainfall of Tamil Nadu comes from northeast monsoon. An important feature of the monsoon in India is its variability and monsoon breaks. It should be noted that there is less variability in those areas where there is heavy rainfall. Where there is lesser rainfall, there is greater variability in rainfall. For example, the variability in the annual rainfall in the state of Rajasthan and particularly in the Jaisalmer district is far more than those areas falling in northeastern region. The variability percent is calculated by dividing the standard deviation by the mean rainfall multiplied by 100. For example, if the average rainfall of Punjab, taking into consideration of the past 10 years, is 75 cm, and if the annual rainfall in the year 2024 was only 35 cm, the standard deviation would be 40 cm. So the variability percentage would be 40 by 75 multiplied by 100 equal to 53%. Now friends, I switch over to different theories of origin of monsoon. The classical theory was propounded by Sir Edmund Halley. According to this theory, the monsoon originates because of the differential heating of the land and sea. In summer, the Indian subcontinent heats up faster than the Indian Ocean. This creates pressure in gradients, and so the winds blow from the Indian Ocean to the Indian land mass. Since these winds are moist laden, they cause heavy rainfall when they collide with the Himalayan mountain. The moist laden winds goes upward because of the obstruction of the Himalayas, or in South India, the Western Ghats. And so after reaching upward, these moist laden winds get condensed, thereby causing heavy rainfall. In the winter season, the reverse takes place, so much so that the land mass cools faster than the Indian Ocean. This creates pressure ingredients between the high pressure area of the northern India and low pressure area of the Indian Ocean, and so the wind blows from the land to sea. Since these winds pass through land mass, they are dry unless they cross the Bay of Bengal. This theory is criticized on the ground that it is observed that by the mid-April, the northern India is completely in the grip of high temperature, thereby causing lower pressure. But in spite of the pressure gradients, no rainfall occurs in the month of April, or no monsoon arrives on the Indian mainland. The second theory is dynamic theory, propounded by Hermann Frohn. According to this theory, in the summer season, ITCZ, that is Intertropical Convergence Zone, which is a low pressure area, shifts northward due to the apparent movement of the sun. This creates a low pressure zone in the northern India and the Gangetic Valley. This is called monsoon trough. This monsoon trough attracts the moist laden winds from the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, and this causes heavy rainfall in India. In winter, ITCZ moves southward, thereby weakening the monsoon trough in northern India. This causes retreat of the southwest monsoon and the onset of northeast monsoon in the month of November, December and January. However, this theory is limited by the fact that it doesn't take into account the upper atmospheric circulation of air caused by jet stream and the southern oscillation. The third theory with regard to the origin of the monsoon is jet stream theory. This theory was propounded by Joseph Pedalowski. According to him, the monsoon in India is caused by the shifting of jet stream. In the winter, the westerly subtropical jet stream dominates over northern India, and so it blocks the onset of monsoon. In summer, this westerly subtropical jet stream shifts northwards over the Tibet Plateau, thereby allowing the tropical easterly jet to cover South India. The easterly jet stream further strengthens the onset of monsoon in the month of June in India. However, this theory is also limited by the fact that it doesn't take into account the surface level wind movement or oceanic influences. An important theory was put forward by scientists was the Tibetan Plateau theory. According to it, the Tibetan Plateau acts as a high altitude heat source in summer. As you know that it is a huge mass of land stretching 2000 km from west to east, and the width of the Tibetan Plateau in the west is 600 km and 1000 km in the east. Because of the high altitude of 4000 meter, the Tibet Plateau gets 2 to 3 degree Celsius more insolation than the adjoining areas. The high insolation on the Tibet Plateau creates pressure ingredient between the land and Indian Ocean, and so the moist laden winds from Indian Ocean are attracted towards the Indian mainland. However, they are blocked by the high altitude of Himalayas, and so because of the condensation process, these moist laden winds cause heavy rainfall in northern India. On the other hand, The Himalayas acts as a barrier for dry and cold winds coming from the Siberia and Central Asia. Now friends, I switch over to the point as to how the monsoon in India is affected. What are the factors that condition the arrival or onset of the monsoon in India? These are El Nino and Southern Oscillation, La Nina, Indian Ocean Dipole, Madden-Julian Oscillation, climate change, regional and local factors, and finally changes in sea surface temperature of the Indian Ocean and particularly the Bay of Bengal. Friends, as you know that during the period of El Nino, which occurs usually in the month of December, there is a warm sea surface in the central and south Pacific Ocean, thereby weakening the trade winds, which ultimately weakens the monsoon in India. In normal situation, the coastal ocean of Peru and Chile have cold waters, but in the El Nino period, which occurs in every 5 to 7 years, situation is reversed, whereby there is a flow of warm water. On the other hand, cool conditions prevails in the western Pacific of Australia, Borneo and Indonesia. So while there is a huge rainfall in South America, there is a complete reversal of the rainfall in northern and western Australia and Indonesia, Borneo, western Pacific, which causes drought conditions in these areas. A El Nino condition further weakens the monsoon in India, and this leads to a scanty rainfall in northern India as well as in southern India. When the sea surface temperature of the Pacific Ocean becomes cool, the trade wind is also strengthened, and this leads to the strengthening of monsoon in India. This situation is called La Nina. This is completely the reversal of the occurrence of El Nino. So friends, both El Nino and La Nina have an impact upon the onset and the variability of the monsoon in India. The El Nino further impact as far as 10 to 20% reduction in the annual rainfall in India. An important factor which affects the monsoon in India is the Indian Ocean Dipole, that is IOD. Positive IOD is caused when the sea temperature of the Arabian Sea is warmer than the sea temperature of the eastern Indian Ocean. The negative IOD occurs when there is warm sea temperature in the eastern Indian Ocean, in the area around Indonesia, Borneo and Australia. It should be noted that whenever there is a negative IOD, that is when the eastern Indian Ocean is warmer than the Arabian Sea, this causes lesser rainfall in India. However, a positive IOD can offset the impact of El Ninos on the Indian monsoon. On the other hand, a negative IOD can further exacerbate drought conditions in India. Another important factor is Madden-Julian Oscillation. It causes intra-seasonal variability by modulating rainfall over 30 to 60 days cycle. Active MJO further enhances rainfall, while suppressed phases of MJO further reduces the quantum of rainfall in India. In addition, climate change also have an impact upon the monsoon in India, because friends, we know that the rise in the temperature of the ocean surface causes cyclones, and this leads to extreme rainfall. The delay in the shifting of the subtropical westerly jets further causes the late arrival of the monsoon in the northern India. The deforestation in the Western Ghat has caused lesser rainfall in the South India. Similarly, rapid industrialization and urbanization further created heat islands in the metropolitan cities, causing alteration of the local and regional winds, thereby impacting the quantum of rainfall. Now I switch over to impact of the monsoon on the Indian economy. Friends, as you know that ours is an agricultural country. 42.3% people are living on agriculture. Agriculture contributes 18.2% to our GDP. Agriculture is also the backbone of agro industries. A better agricultural products creates greater demands in rural areas, and so a normal monsoon ensures the rise of production and productivity of the crops. Since the monsoonal rains, and particularly the southwest monsoon, is restricted only for 4 months, India needs the normal monsoon to replenish its water reservoirs, to have irrigation facilities for agricultural activities, and for the generation of hydroelectricity. Since 45% of our agricultural land is still rain-fed, a normal monsoon is necessary for the better production and productivity of crops in the states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the peninsular India. On the other hand, poor monsoons lead to increased government expenditure on relief works, subsidies, and crop insurance. It also leads to food inflation in our country. Excessive monsoonal rainfall, on the other hand, causes erosion of topsoil, thereby reducing the fertility of the soil. So friends, now I conclude. Monsoon is the lifeline of our country. Our agricultural activities are more or less dependent upon the monsoonal and particularly southwest monsoon. The monsoon in India originates by a complexity of factors. No single factor fully explains the origin of the monsoon in India. The monsoons impact the overall economy of our country. However, southwest monsoon is erratic and limited to 4 months. It accounts for 70 to 90% of the total annual rainfall in our country. Northeast monsoon accounts for only 10 to 15% of the annual rainfall in India, and it is mostly restricted to Tamil Nadu and the coastal regions of Andhra Pradesh. A deficient or excessive monsoonal rainfall causes drought or floods in our country. So friends, now I have concluded my lecture. Please share and subscribe my channel AJIS Academy Indore for more videos on different topics meant for students preparing for UPSC, PSCs and other competitive examinations. Thank you very much.